Hello, so today's video is going to be about 2Tanky. So 2Tanky is something that I wanted to talk about a little bit before, and it's something that is very strong in a lot of circumstances. There's a lot of different 2Tanky comps that are now coming out, just because of the way that certain rerolls are working out to play. So in this game, it's going to be a little bit of an unconventional one. This isn't going to be a insanely high placing game. It's not going to be something where I'm going to go instant first because something is very broken. But it's something that I'll tell you about the more broken comps and that what I wanted to play, and I'll tell you why I played the comp that I decided to play in this case, and we'll just go through it. But basically, this is going to be 2Tanky Vertical Chrono. So 2Tanky with Vertical Chrono is actually pretty reliable. It's very awkward, I would say. It's not one of the better 2Tanky versions to play, but it is a good bailout if you take 2Tanky and you're looking for something to play, because it revolves around playing a 4 cost. So in terms of my augments, starting out, Sugarcraft Crest is really hard to play. You really have to hope that you high roll. It doesn't do as well as it used to. I think Sugarcraft, when it's the prismatic, is a lot better because it gives you an item is your item to start out. 2Tanky is almost like there's many comps that work with 2Tanky. So I'm scouting around really fast. I'm looking around and I'm saying, okay, nobody here looks like they're doing anything super obscene. I can just take 2Tanky and I can play one of 3 or 4 comps that I have in my tool belt and decide to play one of those and just play around them. So I'm kind of thinking about it. At this point, I'm just looking up stats because I want to double check Sugarcraft Crown, and I just take 2Tanky. Now, without much further ado, I'll do like the tutorial aspect. If you like my content, make sure to like and subscribe. But I'm basically going to go over with a little bit of stats with 2Tanky. There's many different comps that work really well with 2Tanky. So if you see it, averages sub 4.5. And if you look at it, the first thing that you'll see is you're going to see Nunu, you're going to see Kog'Maw, you're going to see Ziggs, you're going to see Blitzcrank. That's the broken comp to play with 2Tanky a lot of the time. So if possible, what you're going to do is you're just going to play Vertical Honeymancy. Right? And then you're just going to reroll for everybody. Honeymancy got really buffed this patch. So for some reason, they decided it was a good idea to just have like insane amounts of units with this Honeymancy bullshit. So the Honeymancy units are absolutely demons. They do so much damage with the extra bees. So usually if you're playing 2Tanky, you play Vertical Honeymancy. You go for everybody 3-star. And a lot of times you will have an extra Blitzcrank and a Nunu, and because 2Tanky gives you a bunch of if we just read the augment here, I'll go under augments and we go to Tanky. If we read it, basically what it does is when you field 2 copies of the unit, they both gain a bunch of health. And when one copy dies, the other one gains a health shield for 6 seconds. Now, I don't believe health shield interferes with the Honeymancy trait. Honeymancy trait basically works that the more damage you take, the more damage you deal, and the more damage you deal, you also deal more damage, right? The bees basically just add extra damage online. And when a Honeymancy unit dies, 2 bees basically go from that Honeymancy unit to a nearby Honeymancy unit. And I believe that works with the 2Tanky really well because your Honeymancy units can die, the other ones gain shield, everybody becomes more tanky because they gain a bunch of HP, and because they have a bunch more HP, they're able to in turn take more damage and then deal more damage with 2Tanky. This is like an Exodia comp. If you hit 2Tanky, you can almost assuredly hard force towards rerolling Blitzcrank for Blitzcrank 3 with Ziggs. You basically just roll on level 5, and then you just stack in extra Honeymancy units, because the extra synergies don't matter that much, right? Because you have so much frontline with 2Tanky, you don't really care about having Vanguard. Because you have so much frontline, you don't care that much about Bastion. And because you have so much damage on deck, you don't really care about Encanter, because you can also just play it like an extra Ziggs if you 3-star it. Of course, usually you'll just use this for frontline units, and then you'll move on. The other comp that you'll see that is really common, this is the other one that I like to play, is Cassiopeia. So Cassiopeia is kind of weird because basically she does a lot of damage as long as you have good items. But the thing that's really important is that you basically play around Swain 3, Nico 3. And you have like this impenetrable front line that you can play very efficiently. So Nico is your primary tank, and you usually try and build towards Nico. Cassiopeia got a little bit of a buff, so this comp used to be something that was very niche, but now it's a lot more playable. So basically what you do is you play around Cassiopeia, and you try and get like the Guinsoo and the Gunblade, and you make her stack. If you have Syndra, I don't need to go through Syndra items. I'm sure all of us know how to build Syndra because she's built the same way as when she was broken. You're just building like a lot of attack speed and mana gen items. Those are still going to be good on her. And then Nico, you're just building your Giga Tank, and Swain is your secondary tank, and you're going to roll on level 6 for this comp. Now, both of these I end up not playing in this game. What I actually end up playing is Vertical Chrono. This is something I saw on Twitter. I usually don't like Twitter comps, but I have a lot of faith in Vex as a frontline unit. I've said it many times that I think Vex is very, very strong. But basically, all you do is you just play 4 Chrono and you just duplicate everybody. And this is like a level 8 board. So it actually works out really well because of how tanky Vex is. And Vex is really good at holding different items. And you basically just play 4 Chrono, so you get that time stop. It got buffed a little bit, and it also gives AP to all your Chrono units. So Vex gets better shielding, Karma gets more damage, and Zillion basically just works as a time bomb. And you can drop some of the units. Typically, you're trying to stabilize around having double Vexes. If you don't have the double Vexes, it's probably going to fall flat later in the game. You can try and play this with other frontline units, but you really want the Vexes to take advantage of the 4 Chrono trait. And then you can play Camille or Jax until you have them. And if you don't have duplicate copies of units, you can just play an extra unit that gives you a synergy, like a Preserver in the form of Rakan. Or Morgana or something like that, and you can make the board work. But typically you're just playing around 4 Chrono, double Karma. Karma does a lot of damage. With the extra AP, she'll basically just whittle away any backline units and just slowly delete the board, and then you just stall out around the Vex. These are 3 different variations that I was talking about. Now, we're going to go back to the game. The reason we're going to go back to the game is because what's my first pick, right? I want this to be very, very clear. I showed you 3 options, and I actually put them in order of what I think is broken to least broken. Right, so basically if I'm making a 2 tanky guide in this video, this is what, like, let's say it's 2 tank, right? So 2 tanky. First pick, Honey. Honey is the best option always. Now why can I not play Honey? The reason I can't play Honey is that there is one person that has Zap Attack and there's one person that has Nunu Hero Augment in this game. So this is contested 3 ways, or 2 ways at least, and if I enter, it's going to be a 3-way contest. So I cannot play Honey, so that is my first pick. My second pick is Cassio, the one that I showed you, because it just makes very good use of 2 tanky, and I also have some of the starting units, so I have a really good transition into playing around the Cassio board. I can't do that, somebody else is playing it in the board. So instead, I decide that I'm just going to contest into Chrono, because I have a Vex starting, and I will play Chrono, and I have decent AP items. I don't have a Guinsoo, I don't have good Cassiopeia items right now, so if I'm prioritizing my items for later, I will just play towards Vertical Chrono. So you should always aim for Honeymancy. This is the guy that I was talking about. See, he has a Cassio 2 with a Cassio on bench, and he slammed a Guinsoo. He is basically just going to be playing Cassio reroll without 2 tanky, and there are 2 Honeymancy players, so I cannot contest into that comp. Playing around Chrono, the thing that's good about Chrono is that it's not strictly linked to reroll. Ideally, you want to hit Vex 3, and you could hit it on level 8, but because you're rolling for Karma as your primary damage dealer, you are leveling to 8. So there is a little bit of flexibility in how you structure your board, right? Until you get Karma online, you can put a different backline unit. You're not locked in to constantly playing the same comp, not constantly playing like the same units that you don't have many pivot options out of. So that's my main strategy. If you look at the stats, it's like okay. It's a lot better if you have like a Chrono +1 so you can fit in the Preservers, but it's not like the best comp. So like I said, this isn't the highest cap. When I took 2 tanky, usually, let's say you're playing Honey. The thing about Honey is like you're usually playing around 1 cost because you're playing Blitzcrank and Ziggs, excuse me. It makes sense to contest it because if someone, let's say even somebody Zap Attack, right? It doesn't really matter if somebody Zap Attack and you want to play 2 tanky Honeymancy because there's enough 1 cost that you're both going to be able to hit. It will be a little bit of a, like, you won't hit as tempo, like it'll be harder to hit, but there are a lot of 1 cost copies of a unit. There's like close to 30 of them. You will both be able to find copies of the unit. It will be, like I said, it'll be hard, but it's not undoable. So it's okay to contest towards those lines. If you look at the other units, like a 2-cost comp, usually contesting a 2-cost comp, it's very rough, but even that, I'm sure you saw in the Syndrome meta, there was multiple times people would roll down and all hit the same 2 costs. It's very possible. 3 costs is where you cannot be contested. 3 costs, there's only enough units for 1 person to hit. So the only reason I'm not playing Honeymancy this game is because there are 2 other people playing Honeymancy. It's already hard enough if 1 person is contesting you. It's definitely possible. There could be 2 Honeymancy players in the lobby and they will both hit all of their units. But I cannot reasonably contest in a 3-way contest. Now, this Chrono Crown here, I was saying that a Chrono +1 is really good for this comp. I wasn't sure. So instead, I just want to make sure that I have items. I just took to make sure I have a Radiant item. So here, I'm probably just going to take Radiant Shojin. I think Radiant Warmogs is probably a little bit better because of the passive healing. Because I already have a tier to make a blue buff. So I'm not sure exactly what the best pick was. I just take Radiant Shojin because I just want to make sure that I have triple karma items, and I want to make sure that I'm as strong as possible. Chrono Crown doesn't help me right now. Yes, it might give me 4 Chrono for like this turn, but 4 Chrono, it doesn't really do much until later in the game when I have units that can take advantage of it. I don't necessarily want to play around the Chrono units right now, and I think that I'm in a bad spot because obviously I took 2 Tanky. It's pretty much useless for most of the game. There's this guy that's also playing Vertical Chrono, which makes it a little bit hard for me, but hopefully, like I said, if you're contesting a 4 cost, usually it's a little bit easier because I'm only looking for like 1 or 2 copies of Karma to stabilize. I don't need to hit like a 3-star to stabilize. But I'm not sure. Like, I'm actually not sure exactly how to cap out this board to play it really well. I tried looking at the stats. The stats are very fresh. There was also a B patch yesterday. So I wanted to keep this video to like, or some of the videos that I'm working on, I want to keep them a little bit to like when I have more information so I can make a more informed explanation for everybody that's watching my content. But you just have to understand that because it's very early in the patch right now, there's not sufficient data on anything, and you kind of have to just go by intuition and understanding like the units and what you believe in. So for example, like I believe in this comp because I know that a Vex 2 and a Vex 3 is very stable. There's some people, I had somebody in my chat telling me that Vex is trash and isn't a good frontline unit. That's totally fine. I was telling them that I think that's crazy. I think Vex is one of the best frontline units because like the only one that's better than Vex is like the 4 cost and Mordekaiser, and pretty much everybody else is usually weaker. So that's what I mean. This might not be the comp for you. If you play Vex, you don't have success. I play Vex, I have lots of success. I think it's just because like, you know, you have to understand a position and itemize her really well. She really wants AP primarily, and she doesn't really do well with non-AP tank items. She wants stuff like Crown Guard, if possible. Things like that are like extremely strong. Even things that allow her to cast like what's it called? Protector's Vow is really good. But obviously, to each their own. So that's what I mean. I'm trying out this comp because I have faith in it. It's not like somebody says something that looks like bait. It's like, okay, I can see this working because Vex is really, really reliable and stable. Also, did you know that you can't make a Chrono spat? Am I fucking crazy? Did I misread it? I looked at it the other day. Like, I looked at it today, and I couldn't make a Chrono spat, by the way. Like, I didn't know you can't make a Chrono spat. Does that mean you can't reforge into a Chrono spat? Like, I'm so fucking confused. Because I thought the whole point of making the frying pan was that you can make all the spats. I didn't know Chrono was, like, locked. Like, Chrono's locked, I think. Like, you can't make one. Or am I just dumb? Like, maybe I'm just dumb, but we'll see. Whatever. But anyways, I digress. So, I'm playing around Karma this game. And the idea is you'll see when it comes to fruition. I'm pretty rich. I'm just trying to make sure that I preserve as much HP as possible. I'm doing a slight roll right now just to stabilize. I'm going to roll until around 30 gold. And it's just because I'm very low HP. I'm going to stabilize eventually. I just want to make sure that this turn I'm not super weak. I want to start winning a couple rounds, or I want to lose by less. Just because I am 57 HP. I haven't even started the game yet. But I do have a lot of money, so I do a slight roll, right? And the slight roll also, by the way, is also for Vex, right? I have these 2 Rumbles. That's really my only 2 tanky value. 2 tankies, it doesn't work like some of the other traits. Like before, there used to be like double trouble, and it would give you like offensive stats as well. Typically, 2 tanky only really gives you, like, it works primarily as a defensive trait. So having double of your backline unit doesn't matter that much. It might matter in this fight, for example, because when one of them dies, the other one gains a health shield, you'll see. Okay, I didn't die in time. But if this guy died, this guy would gain a health shield. So then you can sometimes like win these like late game situations. But it's okay. Anyways, I have discount, so I just buy to upgrade this guy, and I'll just play a random unit that's 1 gold. I want to make sure that I'm making 40. Remember when I said last turn I was slight rolling because if I can find a Vex and then I have 2 Vexes on deck, then I'll get 2 tanky on Vex, which is really important. I'm still making 40. I'm going to be level 750 gold on neutral, so I should be fine. And like I said, I just wanted to stabilize my board a little bit, and that's why I was rolling. So my board is pretty okay. Like, my board is kind of okay. Here, whenever you see a hero augment, you should always put the Zillion directly in front of it. As you can see, this Nunu is taking forever to do damage because my Zillion keeps bombing it. So you should always put the Zillion directly in front of the hero augment unit if somebody is playing the hero augment. So in this case, this person is playing Nunu hero, and my Zillion is just cheesing the fight. Now, I don't have enough damage or tankiness on my board in order to actually win this fight, but as you can see, it definitely gave me the best opportunity. Always position your Zillion. It's often slept upon. Even with 0 items, the Zillion is very reliable at just randomly killing stuff, right? Or randomly stunning something and swaying the fight. So you always want to put your Zillion in a good spot. Anyways, we're level 750 gold. We're gonna roll down for this board. It's really unfortunate that I didn't hit the Vexes already. I would have liked to find a couple more Vexes on that little slight level 7 roll down, just because it sets me up. The highest cap of this board is going to be finding Vex 3. Right, Vex 2 is okay, but she doesn't scale well into late game, because a Vex 2 is obviously not going to be as tanky as a Nasus 2. She's not going to be as tanky as, I don't know, a Taric 2, right? When Vex really starts to shine is if you can make it to like a Vex 3. So this comp, you're probably just going to stay on level 8. You're going to roll the whole time on level 8, and you're just going to try and find, your priority is Vex 3, and then Karma 2 times 2. Like, you want 2 Karma 2s. You're not going for like Karma 3 or anything. You're not trying to cheese the game, but you want double of them. I have a remover here. I just slam all my items because I'm like, I'm low HP, right? I'm 49 HP. We're not in a position where we're going to win out. This is also experimental. I'm not 100% certain how strong I will be once I hit my board, because I've never played this comp before. This is my first time playing it. I've played it twice now. Today I played it on stream, and it was really fucking annoying because I didn't find any Vexes again. And instead I tried to play Swain, and that was a huge mistake. Never play Swain. I fucking hate Swain. Swain sometimes looks like the best unit ever, and then sometimes he just fucking dies. And I don't understand why. Like, that's a unit that I have to, like, study up. I think it's, like, you need to build him with, like, Giga AP. Or else he just doesn't heal enough, and he doesn't sustain. It's annoying, but it's okay. Here I take Blossoming Lotus. I'm a big hater of these Blossoming Lotus and other things. I find a Karma instantly, though, so that's pretty cool. I get a Reforger and a Remover. I might just take this just for late game. And then I get another Karma, which is pretty cool. Mordecai's not really doing anything. He was just on my board for fun. And now I can itemize this Karma. And this is basically what your board's going to look like a lot of the time. You're basically just going to play 4 Chrono. And then if you don't have a duplicate of a unit, so for example, I don't have 2 Jaxes, so I don't get too tanky on Jax anyways. So instead, I'll just play the Rakan to give my board Preserver, which helps the sustain of my whole board. Karma is good at doing damage over time. What you're trying to do is you're trying to get these 2 Karmas to slowly pepper down the entire enemy team. Right? They're both going to keep casting. If you have items, you can also itemize the secondary Karma. It's totally fine. And your 2 Karmas are just going to keep doing damage until everybody's dead. Right? They're going to keep hitting units, as you can see. And the Vex is going to tank. The Vex is going to tank for you. The Vex is just trying to stall out as long as possible. So Vex is strong enough to basically just, with the 2 tanky as well, where she gains a huge shield because of the extra unit, you're just going to sit there. And you're gonna have a great time just having the Karma pepper everybody down. Once you hit a Karma upgrade, then you could play a different unit, right? So for example, in this case, as you can see, I have 2 Vexes. I'm not playing 2 of the Zillion because it doesn't really matter to me if my Zillion, like 2 Zillions is great because you get double the stuns, you know, that's amazing. It helps out the board a lot. This whole board is about stalling. But in this case, I'd rather just have a little bit more frontline, so I'm playing the double Rakan. If I upgrade Rakan, then I'll play the extra Zillion. If I upgrade the Karma, then I'll play the extra Zillion. You can just hold on to the units for the time being. But anyways, for right now, eventually I'll move this Gunblade onto somebody else. Probably one of my either my Karma or my Zillion once I have another Vex item. Vex in general, you want Vex to be isolated as a frontline unit. In this case, the reason I'm not isolating the Vex is because I want the other unit to die. I want the other Vex to die so I get my health shield on the good Vex, and that is the idea. So as you can see here, I'm just peppering down everybody, and it's working out. Now, because I have 2 tanky, and I have this really good front line that I'm stalling for, that is the reason why I took Blossoming Lotus. Blossoming Lotus is typically not very good, because you have to think of it from the perspective of that versus other augments or versus other combat augments. Obviously, it's going to be better than no combat augment because a combat augment still strengthens your board and allows you to do damage. When I say a combat augment, what I mean is some augment that gives you some sort of stats or power boost to your board, right? Like there's rolling augments where they give you gold, or gold augments, they give you gold, rolling augments, they give you rerolls, and then there's combat augments where they're like gain Omnifam, gain damage, gain crit chance. Those are things that are generally strong, because like they make your board stronger in terms of like the units doing more damage or sustaining themselves more. Blossoming Lotus takes time to ramp up. That's what I mean. Compared to something like, for example, like Magic Wand. Magic Wand just like gain AP. Boom. Your board gains AP. That's good, right? It's generally good to take. Blossoming Lotus, it's like you gain crit chance every couple seconds. It's like, okay, that's great. What if the fight just ends instantly? I'm basically playing down an augment, and like it only works if your board can stall out long enough. That's what I'm trying to get at. So if your board doesn't stall out long enough, you don't get as much value off of it, and then you basically just don't cash it out, and you don't win. In this case, because I have Chrono, which does the whole board pause, so that stalls some time. I also have the 2 Tanky, which makes my board really, really difficult to deal with because they're basically just gonna be taking a bunch of damage. So I have a good chance of winning it. I lost to Bees, by the way. This fucking Bees comp. Look how low his HP is, by the way. I just need a little bit more juice. If I had a better Vex item, don't I win that for sure? It's very unfortunate. I find a Camille, though. Camille is good, right? Obviously, you would want a Camille upgraded, but compared to Jax, I'd rather just have a Camille on my board than a Jax in terms of the amount of damage they can do. Jax has no items. If Jax had items, it would be probably better to play the Jax. And now I'm just rolling it down because I'm 27 HP. I don't want to wait till I'm 1 life. I feel like I'm very far behind. If you look at a lot of the lobby isn't very close. There's these 2 guys that are pretty much the same HP as me, but this guy just hit like a Lily of 3. The boards are reroll, so it's difficult to gauge how strong they are. And then there's many people that are very, very high HP, right? These guys are both 80 HP. This guy's 58 HP. So I want to make sure I win as many fights as possible. I need to position well. I need to fight well. But as you can see, the Vex is isolated as a frontline unit, so after all of the 2 Tanky units dies, she gains more shielding, and it makes her very, very, very strong. So this guy is somebody who's ramping up just like how I'm trying to ramp up, but I'm good enough, right? I'm stable with Karma 1, by the way. That's what makes this comp playable, right? When you think about a comp, and you think about like these experimental comps, and you see them on Twitter, and you see these other things, the thing doesn't matter what the final board looks like. That's like a very noob bait. That's like a skill check, right? The reason I believe in this board is because I know that Karma 1 is stable and I know that Vex 2 is stable. Obviously, if I have like Karma 2, Vex 3, this guy upgraded, of course the board's going to be strong. That's not what I'm getting at. What I'm saying is there's a lot of fights that are pretty reliably won with just a Karma 1 and a Vex 2. Because the units themselves are strong enough to make do, right? They're strong enough to make it by without having to suffer like, you know, needing endless upgrades. Also, I'm hoping that eventually I can hit a Vex 3 here, and that will really be my win con. If I don't hit Vex 3, I think the best that I'm going to place this game is maybe 3rd or 4th. That's what we're aiming for. So we're not aiming for like a number 1. Like I said, when you're picking 2 Tanky, this isn't my first pick. This isn't like the go-to 2 Tanky comp. It's not like you see 2 Tanky and you play this board. No. Don't get it twisted, right? Take my words for what I am saying. Listen to the words I am saying. This is not a first pick comp. You do not play this first. Okay? Also, what did I do here? Oh, my cloak is on the way. Okay, that's what happened. Yeah, I selected it too late, so it took a while. But I wanted to make Spark, so I rearranged my items to have Spark on Vex because I want my Spark to be up. But as you can see, this guy didn't hit Karma 2, but I'm a lot stronger than him because this Vex, very hard to deal with. I got some chip damage on my Karma, but they get the healing from Chrono, so I have a little bit of sustain for the whole board. Works out really well. But like I said, this isn't the first pick for 2 Tanky. If you see 2 Tanky, don't go, oh, I'm going to play Karma. Easy clap. GG. Shake my hand. It's like, no. You're trying to play Honeymancy. If you see 2 Tanky, you try and play Honeymancy, okay? I'm not saying that this comp is better than Honeymancy. What I'm saying is, if there's 2 people in your lobby that both have a Honeymancy hero augment, you probably can't play Honeymancy. So then you have to find another option. And, you know, it might not be the easiest option to take, but this is fine, right? It's fine. You'll make it. You'll live, right? Here the problem is, I should have put my this Karma on this side. So I might lose this fight here. I don't know if I actually lose. This Wukong Jinx, this is after they re-fixed it. So it used to be bad. They buffed Jinx a bunch. So now Jinx Wukong, you'll probably start seeing in your lobbies come tomorrow or the day after. Usually people are a little bit delayed in figuring out when something is good because they're waiting for somebody else to figure it out. But Wukong Jinx was like either bugged or broken. A lot, especially Spin to Win, that was actually bugged. They did a B patch earlier today, and that's why I was saying with the stats are a little bit hard to tell what's good and what's not good, because the B patch just got fixed. And yeah, so Wukong Jinx is back, so I expect to see a lot of Wukong Jinx reroll in the next coming days. So just be prepared for that. I have 2 Vex 2s. I buy the Charm because I think it's a little bit better. I think it would have been better to upgrade the Karma than to buy the Charm, because all this did was give me a D-Claw. Also, if you notice I'm not scouting, you'll always want to have Karma on the same side as the enemy carry. It really makes a big difference because she can snipe the backline when she does her multi-shot. So I need to position a little bit better to put my good Karma on the correct side. But anyways, I lock shop here. It's always upgrade Karma. I know that 2 Tanky exists, and you might be baited into thinking, oh, should I upgrade Karma or not? The Karma, I think, will do more damage as an upgrade than this Karma is doing as a separate unit, right? If you look at the extra damage, she's doing like less than 1k, right? It's fine. Just upgrade the Karma. Don't get baited by like the 2 Tanky. But now what I probably would look for here is an extra itemizations for either Karma or the secondary Vex. Both of them would be good. I'm 3 Vexes off of Vex 3. I should probably just take the Vex. Oh, I should have taken the Vex. Wait, there's a Vex on carousel. No. Okay, that's my bad. Okay, that was my mistake. I should have taken the Vex. I should have taken the Vex. Because Vex 3 is such a huge spike. More so than this Shojin is going to be. Because I took the Rakan with Shojin because it gives me a Shojin. So now I'm basically working on items for another Karma. That's like the idea, right? I could put them on Zillion for now. But if I hit another Karma, I will probably swap out one of these units for 2 Karmas, and I'll have 2 itemized Karmas. That's like the end cap of this board being really strong is Vex 3, Karma 2, and then another Karma 2. And you have all items on Karma and all items on Karma because Karma is really good, right? We're abusing the fact that even though Karma didn't get super changed in the last couple of buffs and the last couple of patches, Chrono got a lot of changes, so it's making the whole board a little bit more reliable. So Karma in turn now is becoming like this demon character that everybody's playing towards. She's like the go-to 4 cost again. But anyways, I position on the same side. I should be stronger than this guy for sure, so I'm not too worried about losing this fight. Oh wait, maybe I do? Nah. Vex is good enough, right? Yeah, Vex tanks here. Oh, I lose. I think I just lost. Damn. The Fiora got my backline before my Karma can cast one more time. That's a misplay on my part. But yeah, the dream here would have always been Vex 3 and another Karma. Obviously, the Karma line was very contested this game. That guy's playing Karma, I'm playing Karma, and there's also a guy with a Chrono +1 that I think he died already, but that guy was also playing Karma. So Karma is hotly contested. That's like I said. That's why I said you very rarely play this line. You usually play towards the other 2 tanky lines, so either the Cassiopeia line if you have items for it, but primarily the Honeymancy line, but there's just too many Honeymancy players. Here, like I said, remember, when they have a hero augment, what do? Quiz time, YouTube. You put your Zillion in front of him. Right? Not directly in front of him, you put him in front so he just keeps stunning. Look at this. This guy's whole board revolves around this Nunu doing damage. And look at this. Every 5 seconds, this Nunu is just fucking taking a lunch break. Ready? Look, he's on lunch break again. He's supposed to be chewing down everybody. He's supposed to be killing everybody. And guess what? My Vex is just tanking the whole way through. Right? And, you know, eventually the Nunu killed everybody. But guess what? Too late. It's too late. And that's a guaranteed top 4, right? That's an easy... This game wasn't that difficult. And my spot was really bad, right? You have to understand, I was like 50 HP, not super rich. I rolled down for Vex on level 7. I didn't hit to stabilize. I lost a bunch of fights. And there's multiple hero augments / Nunu players. Sorry, there's multiple hero augments / reroll players that have very, very strong boards. When you look at my final board compared to a lot of other people's final boards, you will see that there is a clear disparity in the amount and quality of the units because I spent a lot of gold rolling for charms and trying to salvage my game just to get this board. You know, it's okay. Right? I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a guy level 10 with like fucking upgraded 5 costs, right? Look, this guy has a Morgana 2 now. Do you think I'm beating that? Hell no. Anyways, we find an extra dude. So I'm just gonna itemize the secondary, what's her name? The second Karma. And then ideally we can find the Vexes. Chrono upgrade is probably good enough. Yeah, just upgrade the speed on everybody. But yeah, I think I don't hit Vex 3 here. I'm pretty sure I don't. Oh, this is the I need to position. I didn't scout. This was a positioning diff. Cause I need my good karma on the side of the Jinx, because I want my karma to try and snipe this Jinx. Cause I might just lose right now. We'll see what happens. But I'm taking unnecessary risk by putting my karma on the other side. Anyways, look at this. Vex tanking like a beast. Love that for me. Oh, I lost my 1 unit. Yeah, this was a karma side diff, right? If my karma was on the same side, I win this fight. That might be the difference. So this mistake, as well as the other mistakes that I mentioned, and then here, right? Like, man. Oh, it's so close. I was so close. My econ management could have been better this game as well. I could have made more econ intervals because I was pretty stable. This game was a bit of a mess because it's my first time playing this comp. So I wasn't sure how stable I would be with a Karma 1, Vex 1. It's kind of like I just kind of, in my head, kind of did the math and said, yeah, this looks like it will work. But sometimes I'm wrong, obviously. But I don't think I beat this board, right? Fiora 2, Karma 2, Gwen 2, Morgana 2. I don't even think I killed a Morgana 2. And he has support golem, right? I'm like a stall comp. It's like I don't think this Vex 2 is going to live long enough, right? She's going to live a while. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think I live long enough to deal with everything here. Yeah, look at this. It was actually really close though. Look, the Karma was almost dead. This Morgana might have died, but it's just a 4th, which is fine. But mind you, I'm okay with a 4th. I wasn't aiming, like I said, this wasn't my first pick. The reason I wanted to make this VOD is because, or make this review, is because I was looking at some of my old VODs, or I was looking at some of my VODs of the new recent patch, and I wanted to show something a little bit fun and interesting. Obviously, this isn't the highest cap board that you can play with 2 Tanky, but it's a unique one that does work out really well. As you can see, I basically just lost to reroll, and this is pretty high roll, right? They were contesting the same comp as me with Karma, right? We had a Karma 2, a Karma 2. I hit my Karma really late, so it was a little bit awkward. If I had a Vex 3, I don't even know if I win that fight with a Vex 3. I definitely don't beat this guy with a Vex 3, but if I had Vex 3, I would have beat both of these guys for sure. Right, but this guy, he's rerolling, he has a Briar 2. You know what I mean? It's like, the comps are very strong, right? This isn't like, I fought against Glue Eaters and I won against Glue Eaters. It's like, I fought against boards that were relatively strong. Some of them, like these guys, didn't hit a stabilization point, so that's obviously, like, difficult for them. But a lot of these boards, these are game-winning boards, right? So I lost 2 game-winning boards, and this isn't my first pick. That means that, you know, it's somewhat reliable to play for, like, that low cap 3rd/4th. If I played a little bit better this game, I'm pretty sure I could have gotten a 3rd for sure. I don't think I would have gotten much higher than a 3rd, but if you can start the game off and say to yourself, I'm playing for 3rd, and you get to a 3rd/4th, that's a pretty good game, right? Because you can't guarantee yourself always going top 4, but if you know that your comp is really reliable, that you can end up somewhere in this level, that's how you can gain LP a lot of the time. And that's why I wanted to show this comp, because I thought it would be interesting. Obviously, if you have a better spot for this comp, like let's say you just start the game out with a bunch of Vexes, or if you roll on level 7 and you have a Vex upgrade already, you know, if I won a couple mid-game rounds as well, there's a good chance I went top 4 as well. If I was able to make it to level 9 and have a Camille 2, I can easily win the game. And I think even this comp leans itself really strong towards 6 Chrono. So I think Chrono +1 in some cases is also really good. So obviously, if I make a better version of this, I will post it. But for now, this should be a fun video that you can try out for yourself and see how it goes. But thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day.